Your human design should help you figure out how you want to show up in the world. And I stumbled upon a creator that really unlocked it for me. And I want to talk about it with you to kind of spread her gospel in a way. If you tuned into last week's episode of the Sancocho Diaries, which welcome back. This is episode 4. Can you believe it? We're 4 episodes in. If you tuned into last week's episode, we talked about how to take the leap on the thing that you want to do, whatever it is. Now I want to talk about how we can use human design to help you understand yourself a little bit more and put together the pieces of how you're supposed to kind of be in service of yourself and the collective. I will say that the creator that I found that started to explain this for me provided all this information for herself, like free through all of her reels and carousels. And I sat down for a day and kind of really put it together. But if you don't want to do that work, she sells a guide that I haven't purchased yet that I feel like will summarize it way better than I can. And also give you some actionable items on like how to show up online. So if you are interested in that, please check her out and please support her. Everything that I'm about to talk to you about today, I kind of did on my own with everything that she shared, and another creator that I'll leave in the like description box and stuff, so that you can kind of put together the pieces yourself on how to show up as this powerful, mystic, creative human being that you are. So basically, when we were looking at our chart, our human design chart, I have mine here on the side to kind of like walk through what the process was like and then how I put things together to understand how I'm showing up for you. And I want you, or I want to encourage you to be able to show up for yourself in that way, using your human design, and also coupled with astrology. These are like 2 different practices. The astrology, I feel like, helps me understand what I'm more inclined, not necessarily to talk about, but something that's within me that is supposed to come out in a different way than the human design kind of explains it. But maybe I'll talk about it, maybe I won't. So first, you go to her site and you put in your human design. I don't have her chart up. I have my regular chart up. And when you look at this funky graph, it's going to be overwhelming if you don't know what it is. But basically, we have, similar to the chakras, we have these energy centers that go from the bottom to the top, and also includes like your spleen and something else that I can't remember right now. And all of this is giving you information on centers that are activated for you and how you're supposed to kind of use that to your advantage. There's also like arrows that kind of tell you stuff. I don't know what that means. But basically, the really interesting thing about the way that she broke down the concept of using your human design as a creative is bridging both the design column and the personality column. And the personality column is things that are within you, that are like yours. And the design column is the bridge of things that your audience kind of wants or is looking for, and you are innately able to kind of bridge those 2 together. And so basically her whole strategy around this is just bridging your personality and your design, and then using your profile, right? Because when you get your human design, you'll also see that you have a profile, your type, your strategy, your authority, all of these little categories. I am not an expert in this at all, so I'm not going to break down all the categories. But what I will say is that your profile tells you a little bit about you, and the numbers also tell you a little bit about how you're supposed to, treat the way that you create and show up and make content or whatever it is that you're doing. The type is also indicative of how you show up. So for example, my type is a manifesting generator, and basically I'm designed to be doing too much. Like, I get an idea, I need to do it. I get an idea, I need to do it. I get an idea, I need to do it. And if I don't do that, I allow myself to fall into a trap which in here, I can't find it right now because, of course, when I need to look for something, I can't see it. But if there's, oh, here we go, not self-theme. If I'm not moving like a manifest generator, my not self theme of frustration will show up. So that can look like being frustrated about how I am, like the status of where I am in my life or relationships or things like that. If I'm not honoring the true nature of my type, frustration will show up to help me see like, hey, we gotta fix something around here, right? And that's like a really important thing to understand. Emotional authority. My authority is emotional, right? So my emotions help me understand if things are a yes or a no, if things feel right, aka using your intuition, leaning into your intuition, all of these different things. Then we have lots of really fun parts. There's a lot of like human design creators that I follow that if you're curious and you want me to share some, let me know. I'll maybe put some in the comments or something, but there's a lot of information here and it can feel very overwhelming. So what I want to make sure that you're understanding right now, so far, if you've already pulled up your human design and you're doing this with me, which I encourage you to do, we're just bridging our personality to our design to help us show up. And then on top of that, there's like different parts of how you need to show up based on your chart. Again, I do recommend you running her chart because she breaks it down in her specific way, which is what I use to kind of understand my chart. And so if we're looking at the personality and design columns, we are trying to look at specifically the Sun, the Earth, Mercury, and Venus sections, right? These 4 categories or planetary things, bodies, are helpful in allowing you to show up in these different ways. The Sun is how you shine your light. Obviously, it's the Sun. And when I made my little cheat sheet, I don't know how I wrote these things down, but I did. So the Sun is the foundation of my expert identity and what my audience sees in me. So we're trying to build that expert identity and bridge it to what your audience sees in you, and using that to allow you to help you shine. Earth is what grounds your authority, the thing that allows you to shine up in this world, to take up that bright light, and you want to ground it and bridge it to the foundation. That one didn't really make sense to me, but it is what it is. And Mercury is the planet of communication, right? So the way that you want to talk. And this tells you what you're designed to talk about. And then the design part of it, because we're doing like personality and design, is why people come back to you and what they're actually hearing and listening about you when they listen to you. And then Venus, which is the planet of beauty, rituals, even self-love, all of these things, like what people love about you, what your superpower could be, is you bridging your values and your superpower to what your audience values and what they need help with, right? So these 4 planetary bodies is the basis of how she breaks down on how to use your human design to help you find the bridge between these, right? The bridge between your design and your personality with your Sun, Earth, Mercury, and Venus. And seeing it this way was very helpful because then I was able to break it down into each of the gates that then are activated in those places. So for example, the reason that I'm always saying that I'm designed to yap, speaking of my Mercury line specifically, or my Mercury placement specifically, I have the personality. So my channel, my gate there is 13.1, and my personality there is listening skills. Like, I'm designed to listen and to make people feel listened, like they've been listened. And design, so what the people, audience, you need from me is to show up in a routine and ritualized way. And I don't love routines. But fun fact about me, my birth chart tells me I need to be leaning in on my routines. I'm very Saturn ruled birth chart. So everything about me, which is what I've learned a lot in my life so far, like everything about me, I need containers of very much like ritualistic things. Like, I need to have my morning routine. I need to have my nighttime routine, which is a big struggle for me. I need to have my journaling practice. All of these things I've learned I need to do in my benefit, because if not, that frustration thing pops up, right? And that's where I know, like, okay, things not going great, some things out of order. I've had to learn to lean into the even boringness, mundanity, I don't know if that's a word, of routines and rituals. And that's what my audience also wants me to do, which leads me to, like, here, posting these on Sundays, working on getting them out at the same time, but at least they're coming out on Sundays, right? And when I did this chart and I put it together, I was like, damn, I can see it so clearly, how the things that I want to be known for or work towards, or, all of these things, how I was right there. Like, I was already on the path. This just made it like clear, like, oh, look, this is it. Like, this is what you're supposed to be doing and how you're supposed to be doing it. And then going back to kind of like when you're looking at human design and you see those little boxes, she breaks down your chart properties in a way that's different than most people, which I really think you need to probably get her guide or stalk her page to understand it, because I'm still marinating with that. So earlier I was saying that my type is the manifesting generator, and this is the energy that you share most consistently. So because I'm a manifesting generator and I basically have free range to do whatever the heck I want and talk about whatever I want, because it's me, like whatever lights me up. I like to picture sometimes human design like a robot. Whatever turns that robot on, that's like a go sign to be like, okay, like, talk about it, right? And I have that design where I can talk about anything. If you do your design, you might have a different profile type, and that's okay. That's your unique thing, and you need to lean into that. Other things would be like projector, generator, manifester, I think. Again, not an expert, just an expert on my chart. And she says that is like your wild card. She says, like, if you have a manifesting generator, that's your wild card, which again gives you that ability to do whatever, essentially. I have learned, however, that my doing whatever needs to always be rooted in the heart and the benefit of the greater collective. Like, if I'm not doing stuff that is heart-centered, which I've never done, not that I know of, I need to. Like, that is my purpose. That's what I'm here. That's love is the highest frequency on earth that we can reach. Some people say that there's others, but that's the one that I believe. So love is literally at the core of everything I do. And it's important for me to make sure that I'm grounded in that belief as well. And then your content pillars, she suggests that you get that from your profile, which is those numbers that you see, 3, 5, 4, 6, 2, 4, I don't know how they are. And this tells you like how you should be, like what you should be doing when you're talking about being online and all of these different things. Mine, again, leans very heavy into just trying things and figuring it out and sharing it. Like, a big part of my chart is sharing and trying things and sharing. That's what the 3-5 profile line is about. Like, I'm not here to hoard information, which I do. Like, if I'm really being 100% serious about the way that I have previously shown up online, or just as a human, not even thinking about myself as a creator, like just a little girl, I go to webinars. I go to conferences. I go to all of these things. I be watching YouTube videos. I read books. I do all of these things and I keep it to myself. And I don't know why I do that. Well, I can pinpoint some things. But I'm learning to lean into the fact that if I am going to be learning something, I also need to be sharing it in a way that honors me, my human design, my values, and all of these things. But I'm not supposed to learn stuff to just keep it to myself. I'm supposed to learn stuff to share it. And that's been a lot harder than I thought. I don't know why. Then we have another chart property, our perspective, which is what I'm designed to see and share. So this is like the way that you see the world, and how you seeing the world that way is a way that you're supposed to communicate that world to other people. Something that I like to say about myself is that I like to see patterns in things that I don't know if everyone else sees. And sometimes they're a little bit like, girl, what are you talking about? I don't see that. For example, the Substack post that's coming out this Thursday is about the Marvel movie trailer for Doomsday. I'm going to give you the sneak peek right now because Thursday's a long days from now and today's Sunday. When I watched that trailer, I was like, are they gearing us up to understand that we need to come together as a world, as a global nation, to kind of stop these people from being in charge or continuing to be in charge so that we can save the world? Because if not, things are about to go down. Because that's what I picked up when I watched it. And I remember I was talking to my comadre about it, and she was like, that's not what I got at all. So it's like, I'm able to see this like depth in things that maybe might not be there all the time, but I see it and I need to say that. Where before I would just see it and kind of just like, I see it. I hope other people see it. But it's like I'm supposed to see it and do it. And I also see that with like food and politics and being able to talk about that more organically. And that's also another thing in my human design too. Like, I don't need to do things and be perfect. I just need to do things and try. It goes back to that 3-5 line. And yeah, that's a little harder for me. But now I know why it's hard for me, because I'm going against myself in that way. And I'm not supposed to be going against myself in that way. So all of that to say is that my perspective is layers, is the way that she describes it. Because I see all the different layers and everything, and I'm supposed to be talking about the layers. In the human design chart, my perspective is power. So, if you were to pull up your human design from any random chart generator, the way that she breaks down the chart properties are not the same as what any basic human design generator would be. So the terms I'm using are not matching, and I know that. That's why I recommend you kind of do both so you can see, but definitely do hers so that the words match. And then if we're moving to the next chart property, motivation, this is the auric impact I want to leave with everything that I create. And the motivation for me is supported. And on the regular chart, it's need, right? So when you leave my space, not myspace.com, my space, me and you talking, or you listening, is I want you to feel supported. Like, I feel like the journey to healing and accepting that journey and accepting that it's a lifelong commitment essentially is not lonely, but it is lonely. Lonely in the sense that not everyone will want to do that work, and the amount of work that it requires, and the amount of people that will never see your growth in the way that you know that you're growing, and all of these different parts that are just so invisible almost, and that can feel very lonely. On top of the fact that if you're doing like this deep healing work, like there's things that no one in your family has experienced, or no one has been able to work towards that, right? So it can feel very lonely, but it's not lonely, right? Like there's other people on the journey. And the whole reason I'm choosing to show up outside of just being a dietitian is because I've had to navigate it in like different kind of circles of community and stuff, but alone, right? Like, I don't know what I was doing. I was just like trusting in the greater good to put me where I needed to be put, and developing my discernment to help me see like, okay, yeah, this is where I should be going. Oh, that doesn't really look like something I want to be doing. And developing that strategy to understand my emotional authority, without feeling like I'm just going to anything because I don't know what I'm doing, right? Like sometimes I have some friends that have a lot of, like they come from a spiritual background where their family practices all of these different spiritual practices from the Caribbean, and they have like this guidance, and it's always made me sad that I don't have that guidance, knowing that there's something there that my heart is pulling to, and like there's just something there that I don't know, and having to navigate that on my own has been lonely. So stepping into this archetype of this person, this comadre in healing, your comadre in healing, is so that you don't feel alone. And when I was doing this chart and I saw that my motivation was supported, making you feel supported, making you feel not needed, but like you're being tended to in a way because we need you, I was like, wow. I was walking my purpose and not even knowing. And the alignment was just great. The timing was divine. It's like all of these really nice things. And it's like, wow, I'm doing it. And that's really cool. And then the last chart property that she focuses on is your environment. Mine is artificial shores, and so is my husband's. And based on this other creator that I follow, it's kind of like we have to record in places where it feels like illusioned almost. Like if you could see the table, that would be a better angle because there's like a barrier between us. Or when I record like in the window and like a bookcase, and you can see like we kind of have to make a break in the space between us, kind of. I haven't really figured it out. She explains it as window seat, so sitting by a window, which when I do like my dietitian content by my window, that's where I record. I'm still figuring it out for like not dietitian content. But it's artificial shores. And again, there's this other creator that breaks it down much more fun. Maybe next week we'll try the video that way so we can see a difference. But that one I'm still playing around with. So those are the 5 chart properties that she focuses on to help, again, with that bridging of the two design personality and your human design. So they're, again, your type, your profile, your perspective, your motivation, and your environment. And this is coupled with the planetary bodies that she focuses on, which is your sun, your earth, your Mercury, and your Venus, and bridging that with your design and your personality. I spent like a whole afternoon putting this together and making like a blog post essentially for every gate, right? Like when you put your design and your personality together, you'll have these numbers. Those are gates. And reading about those gates and learning what those gates are telling you and all of these things. It gets very intense. I am going to be buying her guide. I haven't bought it yet. I was waiting to get paid. Because, we need money up in this joint. And I know that she breaks down all of this information and then gives you like content ideas on top of it, or content strategies, I don't know. I can't wait to update you about it. I don't have it yet, but I did all the research that I could on my own for free. And I have like a heavy document that explains it. And I love it. I love that I can see myself in this way and how I can show up more true and aligned to myself for you. And now I hope that you're able to kind of listen to this, go to her website, spend the afternoon and figure this out for yourself as well, so that you can show up in the most aligned version of yourself as possible, because you were made specifically to show up in a specific, unique way. Yes, there's going to be overlaps with other people, but no one has your exact combinations of gates and your design and your personality and those little arrows and all of these other little parts of it. Like, no one has the exact same design. And that's what makes you so unique. Like, the universe, God, spirit, everything, like, they made us unique. We have to lean into our uniqueness to be able to show up fully as ourselves. And this just really, again, cleared out the road. And like, look, you're on the path. You're on the path. Look, you're already there. Just keep going. Here's how to like really dig into it and walk on a little bit of a clearer path. Because, the healing journey is not a clear path. It is not. It is very much like I was telling my friend this actually this week, like, you're building a puzzle and you're making great progress, and you can see like, oh, the puzzle's coming together, and you're so focused on this section, but then you look over here and you're like, oh my God, I have this whole other section that I didn't even know I had to start putting the pieces together. And you kind of just do that the whole time, your whole time. And this puzzle piece is great to like, oh, now I got this nice puzzle piece in here, but you still have to look and keep going on the rest of the puzzle. You still have to keep doing the thing that you're supposed to be doing. And I really appreciated being able to see all of this information like that, and then now show up in this way. And now you can do this same thing, or just buy her guide. I'm not affiliated in any kind of way. I just love sharing now I'm learning I love sharing what I learn. But, this was really helpful for me. And if you're trying to show up a little bit more you and aligned, I think this would be really helpful for you. And if you do it, I would be so curious to hear about your gates, not necessarily your gates, your planets, your profile, your chart type, your chart properties, all of these little juicy things that we talked about. I want to hear about yours. I want to see who is in my community, who is in our pot, who's in our sancocho. Okay, I want to know who's in our sancocho. What kind of things you got? What are you adding to the pot? I haven't done any sancocho analogies today. This episode has not been structured like the other ones, which feels kind of fun for me, but also like, I know the rituals and routine aspect of what you need is probably not appreciating this. But I think one wild card episode is going to be okay. So yeah, I had a lot of fun talking about this. I hope that you were able to take some notes, kind of dig into it. And again, I do encourage you to do the chart on your own, see what things come up for you. And that's pretty much it for today. I can't wait to talk to you next week. We have a juicy episode about showing up for yourself even when you don't want to. And then the following episode will be a doozy, because it's going to be like a little bit of a reflection about our move and everything. So, little previews for the next couple episodes. But I'm so grateful to show up with you every week. And let's see how we can keep going. I'm really happy. And I hope that you're really happy listening. And I hope that making this path clear for you allows you to show up in a way that makes you feel good to you. Thank you so much for listening to the Sancocho Diaries episode 4. I'll catch you next week. Love you. Bye.